All right, good evening and welcome to Valkyries basketball. And Happy New Year. Welcome to 2020. Valkyries have 2020 vision tonight as they get ready to take on the Columbia Falls Wildkats. We're up here in Columbia Falls. This is James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes, the Vals, here with you. 406-270-7384. And tonight's non-conference as the Valkyries move up one class to take on the Class A Columbia Falls Wildkats, who are 4-0 on the season, taking 4 wins before the break. And the Valkyries are 4-1. They lost their first game in overtime to Malta at the Shelby Coyote Tip-Off Classic tournament, and then after that took out the Sugar Beaters of Chinook and won a couple of conference games. First beating Eureka up in Eureka, and then taking on Mission and taking care of Mission down in St. Ignatius before the break. And then on Saturday before Christmas, they were able to take out another Class B foe in Anaconda and Lady Copperhead. So Valkyries are 4-1, a overtime away from being unbeaten on the season. So I had a chance to sit down and talk with the head coach of the Valkyries in the first year as the official head coach, Courtney Gunlock. And this pregame is brought to you by Gillard Painting, interior and exterior painting and staining, pressure washing, parking lot striping, property caretaking. Contact Chip Gillard at 1080 Swan Horseshoe Drive in Bigfork, 210-7794, or Chip Gillard at yahoo.com. Official sponsors of Vikings and Valkyries sports. And if you see those guys around, I'm sure you will. Make sure you thank them. We're back with the starting lineups, but first I want to give you what the coach, Courtney Gunlock, had to say pregame.
Well, welcome to the pregame show tonight, and Happy New Year to all. I got Courtney Gunlock, the first-year head coach of the Bigfork Valkyries, and Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Well, pretty good start to the season. You lost the first game, had a chance to win that in overtime, and then run off 4 straight, including 2 in conference. How does your team feel, and how you feel about the start of the season?
We were very happy with how the season started, and we've been working real hard. We know that we got a long ways to go still. We definitely have 2 really tough games, including the one tonight and the one Saturday against Loyola, which will really test us. So.
Yeah, talking about tonight, you step up in class against a perennial powerhouse, if you would say, in Columbia Falls in Class A, but, you know, what are you looking to get out of this particular game that would maybe push you or elevate you going forward?
I think Sioux Falls is just solid all around. I think they have great post players. They have really good guards. They pressure the ball really well, and so I think that will force us to take care of the ball, to maybe handle some pressure, really have to step it up on the defensive end and play really good, solid basketball. So I like playing good teams because it makes us better.
Yeah, that's to really push you towards the conference schedule. You're 2-0 in conference. You beat Mission, which now had moved up from 6B to 7B, and now on your side. And you also took care of Eureka up there, a big game there. Talk about the start of the conference now. You're 2-0 and in the lead in the 7B conference.
Yeah, we played Mission, who's a very good team. They have a lot of real athletic girls, fast, and played them up there, so it's always challenging to play at their home floor. And Eureka as well is a solid team, coming back with a lot of return players from last year, and it gave us a good look of, I think, what our possibilities are and where we want to try to finish at the end of the year.
And a big game coming up on Saturday with Class B rival Loyola. You guys always play, or always seems to be a really good game when you guys face each other, either down there or up in Bigfork, you know, as a bit of a rivalry. And they got a lot of returning players, and like I heard that they're ranked number 1 in the state, so that should be a good test as well.
Yeah, they obviously got third at state last year, and they lost, I believe, one senior that didn't play. So all their players are returning, and from looking at them when we saw them play in Shelby, they look better than they were last year. They're a solid, well-rounded team that has a lot of good depth.
Well, I'm excited about the start of your season. You know, you guys started out well, and did you have a good Christmas break?
We did. We had a great Christmas break, and so we're ready to get back at it.
Well, it'll be fun to see you guys again tonight, taking on Columbia Falls, in Columbia Falls, taking the Wildkats, stepping up one class, if you will, from B to A to take on them. So thanks for joining me on the pregame show, and good luck tonight, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, that was Fisher head coach Courtney Gunlocker. I had a chance to visit with pregame and get her thoughts on the season. Before winning the season, have a good start and 2-0 in conference play, which is big, and they'll get back after conference play starting up next week. They head to Troy, and then as well they will play Deer Lodges in Class B, but then they'll get to take on Troy, and then they have upcoming games again against Mission, Eureka, Thompson Falls as well. They'll travel down to Thompson Falls early, so a lot of their conference games early are on the road, but that'll build up, and like you said, these games here going up and stepping up against good opponents like a Class A Columbia Falls and one of the top teams in the state in Class B and Loyola on Saturday. Hopefully that's good experience, you know, like in college basketball, they're going to push and not in conference schedules like I know for Gonzaga playing those tough teams early in their non-conference to get ready for conference games. That'll help them and give them a lot of experience with a lot of the players before tournament time, which comes up in February. Well, it's good to be with you here on a Thursday night. Hope you had a great Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you out there. Thanks for joining me on Vals Basketball here on BFSD Events here on YouTube. As quite a few Bigfork fans in the seats here to watch this game. I think after watching the games before, some excitement at home as both the boys and girls took wins at home before the Christmas break on the 21st. And a couple exciting games against Anaconda, and they're ready for some basketball. The boys will play tomorrow night at home, and they'll take on the boys Wildkats from Columbia Falls about 7 o'clock tomorrow night as well. Then Saturday is a big game. 5 games on Saturday getting underway at noon with the freshman boys winding up with the varsity boys about 7. Let's see. 6 or 7:30 at night on Saturday. And those should be some good games. All right, thanks to my sponsors, Bigfork Harvest Foods, Gilliard Painting, and the Montana Athletic Club. Here, the starting lineups brought to you by Bigfork Harvest Foods. For all your grocery needs, including amazing bakery, deli, 8111 Highway 35 in Bigfork, 837-5010. Marcus Bagos and the gang at Bigfork Harvest Foods, always willing to sponsor Bigfork Athletics. And you see those guys out there, thank them for sponsoring. So, for Columbia Falls, their starters, it'll be a 5'6" guard, sophomore, number 3, Maddie Robeson. At 5'7", a junior guard, number 12, Lakaya Hill. And the soccer standout, also playing basketball, the senior 5'10" forward, captain number 14, Josie Windauer. 5'5" senior guard, captain number 21, Grayson Sesvin. And also a 6' forward junior, number 32, Madison Warner, for head coach Kerry Finberg, as is about Jim Peacock, Zachary Levitt, and Chad Green. For your Valkyries tonight, the usual suspects, a 5'7" sophomore guard, number 11, Emma Barrett. At 5'5", junior guard, number 14, Audrey Benz. Captain, 5'6", senior post, number 24, Ansley Edgerton. At 5'7", a senior guard forward, number 33, Isabella Santa Steven. And a 5'4", 5, senior guard and forward, captain number 40, Ashton McAnally. For head coach Courtney Gunlock, assisted by Jasper Torres and Brandy Couture. That is your starting lineups, brought to you by the Bigfork Harvest Foods. Tonight's officials, Jason Manger and Charlie Dotson. And I forget the other lady's name, I apologize. And they're getting ready to do the anthem and the starting lineups, and we'll be back with that momentarily here from Columbia Falls, Montana, as the Bigfork Valkyries take on the Columbia Falls Wildkats in the first game of the 2020 year. We'll be back from Columbia Falls. All right, welcome back to Columbia Falls. James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes and Vals with you. As the Bigfork Valkyries get ready to take on the Columbia Falls Wildkats here from Columbia Falls, Montana. Just wrapping up Columbia Falls with their school song. And we'll do the national anthem, get the starting lineups, and get this game underway. In the first game of 2020. Kind of hard to say, huh? That 2020 vision. Out there. Let's stay right here so you can hear the anthem. As the PA announcer getting everybody.
Throughout this contest. And now please stand as we honor our flag and country in the playing of the national anthem.
All right, just finishing up the national anthem. 406-270-7384. Give me a text, let you know you're listening out there as And the Valkyries 4-1 on the season, taking on the Wildkats 4-0 on the season, getting all their wins and games in before Christmas. Their first one for each after the Christmas break, which really is continuing. I know the kids for Bigfork go back in school coming up on Monday. Bath, Benz, Edgerton, Santa Stephen, and McAnally, the starters for Bigfork. Robeson, Hill, Windauer, Svesvin, and Horner for Columbia Falls in tonight's ballgame. Falls getting the introductions here. With Stevenson, Gracie Ann Stevenson, and man Horner. About ready to tip it off here. In 2020, Wildkats always have plenty of power, and Valkyries, this will be a good test for them for the rest of the season. Always, Gunlock says, always want to play some good teams to press your team to get better. All right, getting underway in quarter number one. And here we go. Edgerton jumping up against Horner, and Barrett to the basketball. Out top to Benz. Benz with basketball, dribbles inside, gets the Barrett on post. Santa Stephen in the corner, back out to Barrett. Top of the key, Audrey Benz going to drive it down to the right side and kicks it back out. Emma Barrett at the top of the key. Over the right wing to Benz. Benz inside to McAnally. McAnally shot up and blocked, but she gets her own rebound. And Edgerton picks it up as the feed comes from McAnally with 2 points for the Valkyrie. They lead early 2-0. Up the court, nearly stolen away by Emma Barrett. Pass intended there for Robeson from Horner. Or check that from Hill inbounding. Horner gets it into Hill. Hill top of the key. Over to Robeson on the right wing. Underneath the Windauer. Knocked away. Windauer steps on the end line. Touches the basketball and turn over to Bigfork. Early 7:17 to go on the Montana Athletic scoreboard. 2-0 Valkyries lead. McAnally. Pressure by the Wildkats in the back. Audrey Benz with the basketball. Dribbling up the right side. Give it over to McAnally. McAnally's going to go up in the front court. Kicks it off to Edgerton. Edgerton underneath. Santa Stephen in the corner. Back to Edgerton. Edgerton right wing. Tries to force it underneath the Benz. Stolen away by the Wildcats. Robeson. Or Hill. Hill stolen away by Barrett. Barrett can put it out of the way. And up and under. Misses the layup. She's guarded away by Hill. And quickly down the floor is Robeson. Windauer puts up the shot, no good. Rebound by Columbia Falls, up and no good. There by Horner, and McAnally with the rebound. Gives it up in the front court to Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen right wing, out to Barrett. Barrett will set it up to Benz at the top of the key for the Valkyries. Barrett, right wing. Benz, top of the key. Santa Stevens wing. First it on the McAnally, stolen away. And traveling as Windauer takes off without dribbling, and that'll be a turnover by the Wildcats and Bigfork basketball. 6:25 to go here in quarter number one, and 2-0 on Your Bigfork Harvest Food scoreboard. Into Beth for the Valkyries. She'll set up top of the key. Looking for Benz. Benz right wing extended. Dribbles, finds, hands it underneath. Gives it up to McAnally. McAnally tries to kick it out to Santa Stevens, thrown away by Roberson. Quickly up the court. Throws it up to 21 and knocked away. Shot missed by Stevenson. And they're going to call a carry on McAnally. And inbounding for Plymouth Falls, 3-point shot on the way. Lakaya Hill with the 3-point basket as the Wildcats take the lead 3-2. In the backcourt, McAnally stolen away by Robeson. Robeson underneath. And Barrett right there steals it away. Oh, gives it up to McAnally, but McAnally can't quite handle it. Out of bounds. It'll be Columbia Falls Wildcats basketball underneath their own basket here on the near side. Lakaya Hill gets underneath, knocked away by McAnally, and they're going to call a foul there on Ashton. That'll be her first and first team foul. Inbound at Lakaya Hill, feeds it underneath, and bucket there by Horner. 5-2 into Beth. Back to McAnally. McAnally dribbling up. She breaks the pressure, gets it up the front court. Throws it too long for Santa Stephen. Yeah, just need to settle down a little bit as Courtney Gunlock tells him, hey, just slow it down. Bring it up court. Hill in the front court to Svezman. Over to Robeson. Robeson on the drive. Off the glass. And 2. McAnally, the inbound. Full court pressure by the Wildcats in the back to McAnally. Over to Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen looking down the front court. Over to Edgerton. Edgerton up to Burns. Burns shot up. Off the backboard. No good. And Edgerton comes up with it. Puts it up off the rim and no good. Rebounded there by Columbia Falls. And Hill quickly up the court. Robeson puts a shot up and misses it out of bounds. It'll be Bigfork basketball. Bigfork right to left on the radio now. Over to McAnally, up the right side to Santa Stephen, to Edgerton. Now Burns with the basketball. Knocked away by Horner. And we Bigfork basketball underneath their own basket. And entering the ball game, number 22, Hannah Schweikert. Bigfork basketball underneath, gets it under Edgerton. Shot up off the backboard, just a little bit higher, no good. Quickly up to Hill. Hill underneath to Svezman. Feds it off the rim. And off the backboard and good for Columbia Falls. And 9-2 with 4:26 to go. Barrett quickly up to McAnally. McAnally looking to drive. Has to bring it out. Gets it out to Barrett on the left wing. Barrett goes on the drive. Puts it up. And makes the floater. There's Emma Barrett. And a 9-4 lead for the Wildcats on your Gilroy Painting scoreboard. 3-point shot up and good by Hannah Schweikert, who just entered the game for Columbia Falls, and a 12-4 ball game. McAnally knocked away by Schweikert, and checking in for Bigfork. It'll be number 22, and that's Scout Nadeau for the Valkyries. In the backcourt, she's going to inbound it. Looks for Barrett, gives it to her. Back to McAnally. McAnally bringing it up the left side, across the timeline. Finds it, Audrey Burns over in the corner, underneath the Scout Nadeau. Back out to Burns. Burns, top of the key, McAnally. McAnally gives it up to Barrett. Barrett over to Santa Stephen on the left wing. They're going to take that shot, gives it up to Barrett. Barrett, McAnally looking on the drive, off the backboard, and she's going to get fouled, scooping the line and shoot 2 for the Valkyries. Fouls at number 32. Madison Horner, her first team foul, and McAnally will get 2 for the Vals. First shot up, off the back of the rim and no good, and she'll get 1 more. 12-4, 3:35 to go on your Gilroy Painting scoreboard. Valkyries trail. Second shot up and no good. Stolen away by Nadeau, but taken by Hill for Columbia Falls. Quickly up the court. Top of the key. She pulls up for a jumper just inside the top of the key. 3-point shot in the way, no good. Off the rim. But rebound there by Schweikert, puts it back up, and the held ball. And the arrow points towards Columbia Falls as Edgerton will come back in the game, replacing Benz for Bigfork. So Santa Stevens, McAnally, Edgerton, Benz, and Maydew in the ball game. But check that. Barrett in. McAnally with a steal. Going to drive it all the way and taken away by Hill for Columbia Falls. Throws it up to Horner. Horner goes up with it but blocked partially, and a foul called on number 11. I believe that's Barrett. Yeah, that's her first and second team foul. And that was on the floor. It'll be out of bounds to Columbia Falls. And in checking the ball game, number 21, Madison Chapius, who will replace McAnally for the Valkyries. Inbound to Hill. Hill looking. Robeson in the corner. Looking underneath. Here's Robeson. Drives up to the right wing. Nearly taken away. Windauer up and underneath. Knocked away by Edgerton. And Hill has it. Robeson 3-point shot from the right wing. Misses everything and knocked out of bounds off of Swigert as Horner tries to save it. It'll be Bigfork basketball. Grace Ann Sevizin back in for the Wildcats. Into Chapius. Back to Maydew. Maydew right side looking. Over to Chapius in the backcourt. Up to Maydew and across the middle. And Maydew is going to get fouled. Reaching in, Columbia Falls. And it'll be number 21, Grace Ann Sevizin. And second team foul. Both the basketball over to the left wing to Santa Stephen. In the left corners, underneath. Gives it up to Maydew. Maydew shot up a little bit hard off the rim, and rebound there by Robeson for Columbia Falls. 2:12 to go and counting. Steps top of the key 3-point shot and off, no good. Long rebound there and under the Windauer, and just going to get fouled by Barrett. And that'll be Emma's second and third team foul. She'll go out in the ball game with Audrey Benz coming in for Bigfork. 2:05 to go. 12-4 on the Haverford scoreboard. Make that 14-4 as Horner makes the layup. Maydew inbound to Benz. Back to Maydew. Maydew looking. Gives it to Benz. Benz across the timeline. 3-on-2. Gives it over to Ansley Edgerton. Back out to Maydew. In the right corner is Benz. Out to Chapius. Left wing. Gives it up to Ansley Edgerton on the drive from Santa Stephen. And she makes the basket. 14-6, 1:26 to go. Give and go. Robeson gets a pass back from Swiper and makes the basket. 16-6. Valkyries trail by 10. Benz up the middle, pushing it, looking, kicks it over to Edgerton's shot on the way is good. Just inside the 3-point line by Ansley Edgerton, and doubling up, and a long pass and intended for Sevizin is no good. Lakai Hill returns for Columbia Falls. Inbounded to Edgerton in the middle with Chapius. Back to Edgerton across the timeline. Looks, gets Benz, and right there is Nadine nearly taken away. Robeson with the left-handed drive. She gets pushed. She gets fouled, and she'll go to the free throw line as the bucket counts for Columbia Falls. Montana Athletic scoreboard. 52 seconds to go here in quarter number 1, and the Valkyries trail 18-8. And Maddie Robeson at the line for the end one. Rebounded there. Maybe ties it up with Windauer, and it'll be Bigfork basketball. Inbound to Edgerton, right side. Over to Benz. Benz dribbling across timeline. Looking to attack. Gives it up to Chapius. Passes it along. Window takes it away. Gives it up to Roberson. Roberson quickly up the court to Lakaya Hill. And out of bounds. It'll be Bigfork basketball with 39 seconds to go. McAnally back in the ball game. And she'll give Santa Stephen a breather. Here going into quarter number 2. They're going to need Izzy. Inbound. Left side to Edgerton. Back to Nadu. Over to Chapius. Back to McAnally. Check that to Edgerton and over to Benz. Benz will bring it out. Top of the key with 28 seconds to go here in quarter number 1. Looks at left wing. Edgerton fakes, drives. Gets blocked. And Hill on the drive. Throws it up. And the whistle blows. Lakaya Hill will go to the line. The shoot 2 for Columbia Falls. Second foul on Ashton McAnally and the 15th foul on the Valkyries. First shot up is off the rim, up the backboard, and good. And Santa Stephen will return, replace McAnally with 15.2 to go. Second shot doesn't hit anything. Draws no iron. 19-8 on your Montana Athletic Club scoreboard. Nadu inbound. Santa Stephen on the left wing. Gives it up to Scout Nadu. Nadu looking to drive. Gives it up to Edgerton in the front court. Edgerton gives it back to Nadu. Looking underneath. Finds Benz. Benz looking up and under. There goes Santa Stevens. Santa Stevens tries to throw it up and partially blocked there by Lakaya Hill. So 1 quarter in the books and 19-8. The Valkyries trail on the Bigfork Harvest Food scoreboard. For all your grocery needs, a great and amazing bakery, deli, and much more. 8111 on Highway 35 at Bigfork. 837-5010. Say hi to Marcus Bargos and the gangs. Bigfork Harvest Foods, thanks them for sponsoring Bigfork Athletics. James LaFontaine, the voice of the Knights and the Vals, here with you from Columbia Falls, Montana, as the Valkyries take on the Wildkats. We're back with quarter number 2 momentarily. All right, we're back here at Columbia Falls. Columbia Falls with the basketball to start quarter number 2. And Lakaya Hill on the right wing, guarded by Chapius. Out top to Schweikert. Back to Lakaya Hill on the drive baseline. And they do up and under, throws it too hard. But Horner gets the rebound for Columbia Falls, puts it back up and good. Inbound, Nadu, Edgerton, back to Nadu. They'll give it up to Benz. Benz looking across front court. Edgerton in the front court gives it up to Santa Stephen. And she'll come to the top of the key and get up to Benz. Benz gives it over to Chapius on the right wing. Underneath to Nadu. Trying to get Santa Stephen open for a 3-point shot. Nadu off the backboard. In and out by Scout Nadu. And rebounded by Columbia Falls. Lakaya Hill up. Taken away by Benz. Ben's going to drive it up hard, and she's going to get fouled. As number 10, Alexis Green in the ball game for the Wildkats. So, for Bigfork, we got Benz, Santa Stevens, Nadu, Chapius, and Santa Stevens. And Edgerton in the ball game. Santa Stevens, right wing, back to Chapius. Chapius is going to need to Edgerton. Back to Santa Stevens on the right wing. Chapius, top of the key, over to Benz on the left wing. Gives it up to Nadu. Nadu shot off the rim and rebounded there by Horner. Horner gives it out to Hill. Hill quickly up the court, looking to drive. Pulls it out. Gives it up to Green. Green gives it up to Hill. Hill driving over the left wing. Schweikert gives it over to Green. Back to Hill, the top of the key. Wide open. Nobody had it. She misses the layup. Is Horner, and rebounded there by Benz. And on the rebound, she gets called for the pushing foul. And that'll be a 14 foul on the Wildcats. And then a second foul on Madison Horner. And Bigfork basketball with 6:23 to go, trailing 21-8. And to Santa Stephen, back to Chapis, back to Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen front court, gives it over to Chapis, top of the key. Back to McAnally, just entered back in the ball game for Bigfork. Back to Chapis, Chapis gives it to McAnally, kicks it out to Santa Stephen, three-point shot on the way by Izzy, no good, but Chapis right there with the rebound. And Chapis called for the player control foul for Bigfork and turn over to the Wildcats. 6 minutes to go on the Gator Painting scoreboard, 21-8. The Valkyries trail the Wildcats. Nelly Stolen up top to Laura Faulkner in the ball game. Shot up and off of Santa Stevens. He battles Faulkner underneath for the Wildcats, and will remain on this end with Sioux Falls. Into Hill. Hill looking to drive, kicks it over Schweikert. Schweikert on the right wing, top of the key. Throws one up, out the rim, no good. And over the back, yep. Santa Stephen had great blockout on Lakai Hill. That's her first and 15 foul. And coming back in the game, or ending the game, it'll be number 21. Check that. So McAnally, Chapius, Edgerton, and Burns. Held ball. Possession belongs to Bigfork. Let me get this set. McAnally, Edgerton, Burns, Chapius, and Santa Stephen in the ball game for Bigfork. With her McAnally, backcourt, looking to go across the timeline. And she's ridden up the sideline. We'll get called for the foul. It'll be a 16 foul on Columbia Falls. Is number 12. Lakai Hill will get her second personal and the second team foul. One more for each, and they'll be in the bonus. Inbound to the Benz. Benz gives it over Santa Stevens on the right wing. Back to Benz, top of the key. Looks underneath for Edgerton. Yep, and Edgerton will go shoot free throws. As coming over his back is number 22, Hannah Schweiker for Columbia Falls. So Edgerton will go in the line, shooting a 1-on-1 for Bigfork. And drains it like usual. She struggled early in the season, shooting a little bit hard on her free throws, but seems to adjust. And second one on the way is nothing but the bottom of the net. And returning for the Valkyries will be number 11, Emma Barrett, replacing Isabel Santa Stevens. 5:07 to go, 21-10 on the Montana Athletic scoreboard. The Valkyries trail over to Hill, right wing. Gives in the corner to Green. Green back out to Hill, top of the key. Looking to drive in the right corner. Right wing, gives it out to Green. Over his far side, left wing is Schweiker with a three-point shot. I think she's your three-point shooter for Columbia Falls. In quickly, gets it up to Benz. Benz finds Edgerton, tried to throw it to her, and blocked there as Edgerton was wide open underneath, and Audrey couldn't quite get the ball to her. It was blocked there by 24 Faulkner, and Robeson will return for Columbia Falls. Inbound to McAnally. Right wing to Benz. McAnally in the right corner. Looking to drive, kicks it out to Benz. Barrett, top of the key. Into McAnally. Right wing Benz over to Chapius. Chapius looking to drive and jumps it up to Edgerton. Edgerton shot up and up. Good for the baseline. A nice pass from Madison Chapius to Edgerton. Quickly up to Robeson in the right corner. Throws in the far side to Schweiker. Schweiker throws up a three-point shot in and out, and Emma Barrett will come up with a loose ball. And she'll drive it up the court with 4 minutes to go. Barrett over to the left wing. To Benz. Gives it to McAnally. And McAnally took off without dribbling. She'll get called for the traveling violation and turn over to Columbia Falls. And returning is Horner for Sioux Falls. Into Hill. Hill quickly up to Roberson on the right wing. Underneath. Throws it too long and too high. Meant there for Windauer. And out of bounds to Bigfork. Sevison back here in the lineup for Columbia Falls with 3:47 to go on the Bigfork Harvest Foods, and 24-12. It's Wildkats have doubled up the Valkyries. Chapius on the left wing looking to drive. Gives it over to Benz, right wing. Chapius top of the key. Gives it underneath McInerney. McInerney looking to drive. Up, and she gets fouled. One official had traveling, the other one had a foul, and she got fouled. Well, the reason she traveled is she got fouled. The girl had a hold of her arm so she couldn't dribble, and officials missed that one. Anyway, BC Falls basketball as they stick with the traveling call. 3-point shot on the way, no good. Windauer runs it down for Sioux Falls over to Lakai Hill. Up on the right wing, 3-point shot from the left wing is good, and 27-12 inbound to McAnally. Over to Benz on the left wing. She'll give it up to Chapius, top of the key. Over to Berth in the corner for Edgerton. Edgerton out to Chapius, top of the key. 3-point shot on the way for Madison Chapius, and nothing but the bottom net by the freshman Chapius. 27-15, 2:46 to go. Nearly stolen by Berth. Berth nearly stole. I thought he caused a traveling call, and that's Berth's 3rd and 17th foul. And going to the line is number 22, Hannah Schweikert, shooting a 1-and-1. And it looked like Berth had the ball, caused Schweikert to travel, but they called the foul. First shot on the way is good. She'll get the bonus. $2:43 to go. And she makes the second one. 29-15 on the Bigfork Harvest Foods scoreboard. Inbound to Santa Stephen. Across the timeline. Top of the key by Izzy. She'll give it over to Chapius on the right wing. Back to Santa Stephen, top of the key. Over to Chapius. Chapius looking to drive. Underneath, gives it up to Santa Stevens. In the corner to Benz. Benz gives it to McInerney. McInerney looking to drive. And a held ball. And the arrow points towards Columbia Falls. It looked like McInerney might have got fouled on that, but no call. Into Lakai Hill for Columbia Falls. Brings it across the timeline. Guarded there by Benz. She's pushing off, trying to go baseline. Up and under goes to Lakai Hill. Into Benz with 2 minutes to go. Across the timeline. Audrey over to Santa Stevens. Back over to Chapius. Chapius top of the key. As Sioux Falls playing his zone. Benz on the left wing. Feeds it underneath. Edgerton shot up and good. And she'll go to the free throw line to shoot the N1 for the Valkyries. 31-17, 1:50 to go. And Edgerton at the line to shoot the N1. And that is the second foul on number 21. Grace Ann Sevison. And a timeout taken. A 30-second timeout taken by the Valkyries with 1:50 to go here. And they trail 31-17 on your Gilliard Painting scoreboard here in Columbia Falls, Montana. James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vals. Glad to be back after the break. We got basketball tomorrow at home as the Vikings will be home to take on the Wildkats. And about 7:15 game time tomorrow night. And then Saturday, it is 5 games getting underway with the freshman boys at noon and wrapping up with the varsity boys later that night. So Edgerton will go to the line. She'll get to shoot one. For Bigfork. Shot is up. And makes it again. 31-18. into Roberson. Guarded by Benz. And stolen away by Edgerton. Edgerton can't quite pick it up. And Roberson grabs it back as Ansley takes it away this time. He's going to look to drive as Ansley and knocked away by Columbia Falls. It'll be Bigfork basketball. And Alexis Green returns for Sioux Falls. Inbounding is Bigfork. Out top to Chapius. Under Macadamia up to Santa Stephen. 3-point shot on the way off the rim and no good. Burns with the rebound. Nearly comes up with it. And better guard her. Schweikert from the top of the key. And Benz nearly grabs it. Knocked on the floor all the way to the other end. And Green picks it up. Gives it up to Windauer. Windauer looking to drive. Gives it out to Schweikert. Schweikert looking. Can't get the 3-point shot as Benz is right there underneath the Windauer. Windauer shot off the rim and no good. Good position and box out by Edgerton. Shot goes up and McAnally comes up with the rebound with 45 seconds to go. McAnally gives it over top of the key to Benz. Benz looking to drive right side. Goes underneath. Edgerton blocked away. She tries to get it underneath to Chapius in the corner. Santa Stephen. Just can't quite get Izzy open for a good look. Out to Benz. Chapius, left wing. Tries to force it in to Edgerton and up the court quickly. Benz with the steal. She got a 2-on-2 and Green will foul her. And she'll go to the free throw line to shoot a 1-on-1 for a Bigfork. That's the 19th foul on Columbia Falls with 10.6 to go. And that'll be the second foul on Alexis Green. Audrey Benz, 1-on-1 for Bigfork. Shot up, off the rim and no good. Chapius there to run it down for Bigfork. Feeds Edgerton underneath. Edgerton goes up, little short, misses it. And off of Columbia Falls, it'll be Bigfork basketball with 5.6 to go on the far end underneath their own basket. And a chance to score before halftime. Edgerton shot from baseline is good. A nice pass from Benz. Feeds Edgerton, and that'll be your last score of the first half. And a nice pass, inbound pass from Benz to Edgerton. Turns around and makes the bucket. So your halftime score is Columbia Falls Wildkats 31 and your Bigfork Valkyries 20. A little bit of extended halftime with Hall of Fame night here from Columbia Falls. And Valkyries battling back against the Wildkats, a perennial Class A team. We're back with your halftime stats from Columbia Falls, Montana. This is James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes and the Vals. We're back momentarily with all your first half information. All right, welcome back to Columbia Falls, Montana. I got your halftime stats. First of all, for Columbia Falls, a total of 31 at half. Maddie Roberson with 4.
18, 19, and second team in
Micaiah Hill
2018.
with 9, I believe, leading the way. Swikert with 8. 2 for Svezman. 6 for Horner, and 17 in the first, 12 in the second. So the Valkyries held them down. A little bit better defense in the second quarter. And for the Valkyries at halftime, leading the way is Ansley Edgerton, 6 in the first and 9 in the second, for a total of 15, leading the way. Both had 2. A 3-point shot by Madison Chapius, and McAnally 0 for 2 in free throws. Ben's 0 for 1. 8 in the first, 12 in the second. So the Mass Columbia Falls 12 for 12 in the second. Just got off to a slow start tonight against Columbia Falls, but Edgerton really stepping up underneath. Santa Stephen isn't having a hard time getting loose for an open 3-point look for the Valkyries, and see what the coaching staff does. And they're interested Hall of Fame players for Columbia Falls. So Edgerton having a really good ball game tonight and doing a good job, especially underneath the boxing out and getting the rebounds against a tough Columbia Falls team. Earlier action, it was the freshman girls winning by 1 in the last minute shot. And let's see if I can get where that was posted. A buzzer beater by Avery Winder. The freshman Valkyries beat Sioux Falls 15-13. In JV action, it was Columbia Falls 59 and the Valkyries 33. And then at halftime, we had Valkyries trailing 31-20 here in Sioux Falls.
And in 2018, an all-conference team in 2017 and 18. She had the 100-block club, 300-plus kills club, and the Ismark All-American.
So that's your halftime set, brought to you by the Montana Athletic Club. What's keeping you from getting fit? With discounted guest passes, personal training, a lot going on, Pilates, much more. 850 Holt Drive in Bigfork, Montana, 837-2582. The Montana Athletic Club. Doug and Nancy Mallon down there, thank you for supporting Bigfork Valkyrie and Vikings basketball and sports all year long. Really appreciate it. All right, your halftime score from Columbia Falls, Montana. It is the Columbia Falls Wildkats 31 and the Bigfork Valkyries 20. We'll be back with your second half here from Columbia Falls, Montana momentarily. Stick around. All right, welcome back to Columbia Falls, Montana. Just wrapping up their Hall of Fame 2019 inductees for Columbia Falls. We'll get back here with the second half as the Valkyries trail by 11, 31-20. As they were outscored by 9 in the first quarter and then able to match them 12 points apiece in the second quarter with Columbia Falls and get back at it for the second half as they give an opportunity to give them 3 minutes on the clock to warm up as they wrap that up. And your halftime brought to you by Bigfork Harvest Foods, all your grocery needs including we got amazing bakery, deli, much more, always great specials going on at different times of the year, and they're located at Highway 35 in Bigfork, 837-5010. Marcus Balgos and Kelly Balgos and the gang at Columbia Falls. I'm at Columbia Falls. They're in Bigfork, Montana. Thanks for supporting Bigfork Athletics. Great sponsors of Bigfork Athletics. 406-270-7384. James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vals, with you. And as I mentioned earlier, the boys will be in action at home tomorrow. I'll be PAing that game as well as they take on the Columbia Falls Wildkats. Cats gets underway about 7:15 tomorrow night. And then coming up on Saturday, it is 5 games going on. We have freshman boys, JV boys and girls, and varsity boys and girls going on. PA in that game as they take on Loyola, the Breakers and the Rams in Bigfoot. And then next week we have a couple games going on. Doubleheader going on down in Troy. Conference action, they'll go back into it on Tuesday as the Vals and Vikes will take on the Troy Lady Trojans and Trojans from Troy, Montana. And we'll have that action for you as well. That'll be about 6 and 7:30 coming up on Tuesday night from Troy, Montana. And then on Saturday, I'll get those. I know I have it in here, the whole schedule thing going on, what's going on for the rest of the year. It'll be Deer Lodge in either 5 or 6 games on Saturday, January 11th, and then the following week, the Valkyries and Vikings will go and take on Thompson Falls on separate nights on Thursday and Friday night. We'll have that for you on the radio as well. Well, second half getting ready to start. Looks like it's Bigfork basketball. And the usual suspects, Benz, Santa Stephen, Edgerton, and McAnally into Ben's top of the key. Looking, gives it over Berth. Looking to drive. Fakes the 3-point shot, gives it over Santa Stevens in the left corner. Under McAnally. McAnally looking to drive it out. Blocked by Window and taken away. And up quickly to Hill, gives it over to Robeson. Robeson out to Hill on the right wing. So jump to the top of the key for the Wildcats. Over to Robeson, right wing extended. Out to Windauer. Elbow extended, gives it over to Hill. Hill baseline. Kicks it out. 3-point shot on the way by Robeson off the rim and no good. And McAnally able to run it down for Bigfork. She'll bring it up to right side. Gives it over to Benz. Benz top of the key. Looking. Gives it over to Berth. Berth in the corner for Santa Stephen. Santa Stephen. Bounce pass out to Edgerton. Edgerton. Over to Berth. Santa Stephen in the left corner, over to Berth. To Benz, top of the key. Looking to try not find that opening. Santa Stephen's in the corner. 3-point shot in the bay by Isabella. Off the rim and no good, but McAnally comes up with a long rebound. Gives it out to Berth. Berth looking to drive. And nothing called, no whistle. And Berth able to pick up the loose ball off the backboard and good for 2 for the Valkyries. Quickly up and knocked away. A great hustle there by Emma Barrett as Roberson found Sesbizin underneath, and Barrett knocked it away. Inbound to Hill. On the left wing, out to Roberson. Roberson brings it top of the key. Gives it over to Hill. Sesbizin. And shot up. No good. And rebounded by Edgerton. 6:15 to go. 31-22. The Valkyries trail on your Gilliam Painting scoreboard. Ben's top of the key for the Valkyries. Looking to drive. Gives it over to Beth. Beth on the drive. Whips it around to McInerney. Nice pass off the backboard and short. And coming up with the loose ball is Horner. Gives it over to Hill. Hill drives it up in the front court. Feeds it back to the far side to Sesviden. And out to Windauer. Windauer, top of the key. Looking underneath, give it up to Hill. Hill drives. Roberson, right side, driving on Benz. Off the backboard and no good. And Windauer comes up with it. And nice block there. A held ball. As McAnally blocks Windauer. And Schweikert were coming for Columbia Falls. Drive by Hill. And a floater. She drives in the middle and makes a 2-point basket. Quickly up. 3-point shot on the way. Splash down by Isabella Sanastilian from the left wing. Over to Schweikert. Schweikert shoots the three. Tries to return the favor. And rebound. Run down there by McAnally. And she's quickly up looking for Sanastilian in the corner. She's going to shoot another one. Quickly up. Oh, off the rim. No good. But Edgerton battling right there. Out of bounds. She's battling there with Schweikert. And off of Benz. It'll be Columbia Falls basketball with 4:54 to go. 33-25. So the Valkyries have cut into the lead by 1. They're down by 8 on your Harvest Food scoreboard. 3-point shot on the way. Nothing but backboard and a held ball. Actually, they call a foul. First foul on Edgerton. First team foul, second half. And Horner goes to the line and misses the first one. And she'll get one more. Horner's second shot off the rim, no good. Run down by Sanastilian. Dribbles across the timeline. On the left wing, gives it to Barrett. Barrett for the nice pump fake. Pullback jumper shot, no good. And McAnally battles with it, but off of Columbia Falls. It'll be Bigfork basketball with 4:28 to go and 33-28 on your Gilliard Painting scoreboard. The Valkyries trail. Benz were inbound. Looking. And knocked away. She didn't get up high enough by Horner. And quickly up the court. Look how Hill down. But she can't handle the pass and dribbles out of bounds. It'll be turned over to Bigfork. McAnally into Benz. Benz will just cross the timeline. Top of the key. Gives it over to Barrett. Barrett, the right wing extended. Looking to core for Sanastilian. Sanastilian out to Barrett. Barrett, top of the key. She'll give it up to Benz. Benz will set it up looking for Sanastilian on the left side. Back to Edgerton. Edgerton got to take that shot. Barrett drives in. Leaves it short. Windauer gets the rebound out to Hill. Hill quickly up the court. Looking to drive. To Grayson. Grayson gets it underneath. To Windauer. Windauer shot off the backboard. No good. Horner with the rebound. And she's fouled. She'll head back to the free throw line to shoot 2. Edgerton's second and the second team foul here on the Valkyries. And Horner goes back to the line. And before that, there'll be a timeout taken. And we'll see if it's a 30 or a full. It's going to be a full timeout taken by the Valkyries head coach Courtney Gunlock. 3:46 to go on the Montana Athletics scoreboard. The Valkyries trail 33-25. They were down by 11 at halftime, and they're only trailing by 8, so it cut into the lead. They outscored them 5-2 here in the third quarter. Need to keep that up, but taking care of that basketball as well. Seemed like an awful quick minute. And Horner at the line. She'll get 2 for Columbia Falls. First shot out the back of the rim and no good. And one more for Columbia Falls. Rolls around the rim and falls 34-25, and Bruins with the basketball. Dishes it into Edgerton, out to Barrett on the right wing to Benz. Barrett in the corner to Santa Stephen, looking out to Barrett. Barrett looking to drive on Hill. Gives it over to Benz. Benz looking underneath. Finds Edgerton. Edgerton comes out, grabs the basketball. Tries to get it to Barrett and misses Barrett. And that's going to be an over-the-back violation on the Valkyries. It'll be turned over to Columbia Falls with 3:19 to go. And Robeson, Maddie Robeson will return to the lineup for Columbia Falls. Replacing Sevizin. And top of the key to Hill. Out to Robeson on the right wing. Underneath to Swikert. Swikert's layup is no good. And McAnally battling there with Windauer. Shot no good. She'll come up with a second rebound off of Edgerton. McAnally in the front court. Gives it over to Benz, top of the key. Benz looking as Santa Stephen runs the baseline. Over to Izzy on the left wing. Looking. Back to Aubrey Benz at the top of the key. Barrett on the right wing extended. Gives it to McAnally. McAnally looking to drive. Finds Santa Stephen. 3-point shot on the way. No good, but Benz comes up with the rebound and can't quite get it to Edgerton. And Columbia Falls with the basketball. Hill on the drive. Benz knocks it away. And fouls Micaiah Hill. Audrey Benz is second and 13th foul on Sioux Falls. She'll go out of the ball game, and Madison Chapius will return for the Valkyries. 2:26 to go on the Bigfork Harvest Food scoreboard. 34-25. Hill with the basketball. Over to Swikers. Back to Hill. Hill on the right wing. Gives it out in the right corner to Swiker. Back out. Over to Robeson. Back to Swiker. Swiker's layup on the give and go is good for 2. 36-25. And 2 minutes to go here in quarter number 3. Both top of the key. So run the point. Looks underneath. Finds Edgerton. Edgerton gets it out. Over the corner to Santa Stephen. Looking to, she can't quite get that 3-point shot off. And the Valkyries will have to burn the timeout as Isabel Santa Stephen trapped in the corner by Windauer.
Checks in the game for the Wildkats.
1:50 to go here in quarter number 3. And back to 11-point lead on your Gilliard Painting scoreboard. And we need to get the ball inside a little more. You're trying to find Santa Stevens in the corner for 3-point looks, but she's getting the ball, and the defender is right there. She's going to feed it into Edgerton. Right back to Santa Stevens. 3-point out, shot on the way out the rim, and no good. Rebound bounced around, brought down by number 13. That's Grace Gettleman for Columbia Falls in the ball game. Underneath to Window, and they're going to call the foul on McAnally, and that'll be on the floor. Her third personal 14 foul, and Columbia Falls inbound to Hill. 3-point shot on the left wing is good. 1:33 to go. No fouls called on Columbia Falls at all here in the second half yet. Quickly up to Barrett. Barrett looking in the corner. Santa Stephen, 3-point shot. He's got to keep shooting off the rim and no good. And Edgerton right there knocked away. Given up to Schweikert under Hill and stolen by Barrett. Knocked away by Columbia Falls, and it'll be Bigfork basketball. Nadu will come in for Santa Stephen with 1:14 to go and trailing by 14 into McAnally. Full court press by Columbia Falls. Quickly up to Barrett. Barrett looking. Knocked away by Windauer. And quickly, now Nadu, Windauer with the basket. Nadu, top of the key. Gives it over to Barrett. Barrett looking to drive. And she's bumped by Windauer. That'll be the first team foul. And first foul on Windauer with 51-7 to go. Into McAnally. Gives it up to Nadu. Nadu looking in the corner. McAnally. McAnally looking to drive. Puts it up. And she's fouled. She'll go for the free throw line as the ball hits off the rim and no good. And she'll get two. McAnally will. Grace Gedleman will get her first personal and second team foul. First shot is good by McAnally with 44.7 to go on the Harvest Food scoreboard, 41-26. Second shot by McAnally, good. Not about the bottom yet. And within 14 now, 41-27. Quickly up Hill, up to Roberson. Roberson looks to drive. Cut off by Barrett. Over to Hill. Hill top of the key. Stolen away by Madison Chapius. Looking to drive. Looking underneath. Well, like Schweiker got it a hand, but knocked out of bounds. It'll be Bigfork basketball on the near side. It's Nadu to take it out. Into Chapius, knocked away by Hill. Got to be strong in the basketball here. Nadu will take it out again. Give it into Barrett. Barrett looking. 26 seconds to go. Gives it over to Chapius, right wing. Over to Nadu. Corner, Edgerton. Edgerton. Chapius. Chapius looking to drive. Gives it to Edgerton. Edgerton. Underneath the Chapius. Chapius looking. Back out to Edgerton. 3-point shot on the way out the rim. And Nadu battling with Robeson off of Nadu with 6.8 to go here in quarter number 3, 41-27 on your Gilead Painting scoreboard. Into Hill. And over to Robeson. Point shot on the way. And call it on the floor. Inbound pass, or pass inside, I should say. McAnally's fourth. And that'll bring Benz back in the ball game for the Valkyries with 3.2 to go. And Columbia Falls the ball underneath, looking to pass in. Gets it in quickly to Swaggart. Swaggart's 3-point shot on the way off the rim and no good. So, 3 quarters in the books, and the Columbia Falls Wildkats lead 41-27 over your Valkyries on your Montana Athletics scoreboard after 3 quarters. We're back here with quarter number 4 from Columbia Falls, Montana on BFSD events on YouTube. The Bigfork Valkyries basketball action. Well, welcome back to Columbia Falls, Montana. James LaFontaine with you, the voice of the Vikes and the Vals, and we're Bigfork basketball here to start quarter number 4, trailing by 14. Barrett, Benz, Chapius, Nadeau, and Edgerton for the Valkyries. In Barrett on the right wing, looking, drive, floater up, off the rim, no good. Edgerton nearly grabs it, knock it to Hill. Hill driving up, looking underneath, and finds Robeson for the 2-point bucket for Columbia Falls. Barrett brings it across the timeline, gives it to Benz in the left corner. Benz looking to drive, kicks it out, gives it out to Barrett. Barrett 3-point shot on the way, off the rim, no good. Scout Nadeau right there, running it down. Is Barrett runs down with Hill. And they call a held ball. Couldn't determine who knocked it out of bounds. So it'll be Columbia Falls basketball. And checking in for Bigfork, it'll be number 23, Nevaeh Carlin. 3-point shot. Lakaya Hill hits the 3-point shot off the inbounds play. Into Benz. Back to Chapius. Chapius over to Benz from the front court. Benz looking underneath. Finds Carlin. Up. Edgerton left-handed shot is good for 2 for the Valkyries. And a nice pass there by Carlin for Bigfork. Under 7 minutes to go. Hill brings it up across the timeline, gives it over to Robeson on the right side. Robeson gets it over to Hill. Hill on the right wing, guarded by Barrett. Hill tries to go back door to Schweikert. Blocked by Benz, and Edgerton will come up loose ball. Chapius looking to drive up the right side. Brings it in the front court. Gives it out to Benz at the top of the key. Over to Chapius on the right wing. Look at down the right corner to Edgerton. And Ansley can't quite get it through Schweikert. Trying to feed Carlin. And over to Hill. Hill looking underneath. Gives it up to Windauer. And Windauer will go to the line. And she's fouled by Nevaeh Carlin, the freshman. And that'll be her first and 16 foul on the Valkyries. 6:14 to go. The basket is good. And Windauer will shoot the and one for the Wildkats. Horner returning the ball game for Windauer as the free throw's no good. 48-29, 6:14 to go on the Harvest Food scoreboard. The Valkyries trail into Chapius, back to Carlin. Carlin looking over, finds Barrett. Barrett 3-point shot on the way, off the rim, no good. Carlin battling right there, gets it. Edgerton picks it up on a pass from Carlin and scores for 2 for Bigfork. Inbound to Robeson, over to Schweikert. Schweikert on the right side, gives it underneath to Horner. Horner puts it off the backboard and good. Inbound. Chapius bringing up the court, looking to drive all the way. Gets it up to Carlin. Carlin off the backboard, no good. But Edgerton gets the rebound, puts up the shot off the rim and no good. And battling for it is off number 32, Horner. So it'll remain with Bigfork as Edgerton keeps battling. So 2 freshmen in the ballgame for the Valkyries. Chapius, right wing, looking underneath, finds Carlin, and knocked away there by Horner. It'll remain Bigfork basketball with 5:27 to go. Benz, Carlin, Barrett, Chapius, and Edgerton. Edgerton inbound pass, picks it up. Player control foul, number 23, Nevaeh Carlin. And so the 17th foul, there's no free throws on a player control foul. Inbounded to Robeson. Chapius going to run her down from behind. I'm sorry, but That'll be 1-1 as that's the second foul on Madison Chapius. And Roberson will go to line 1-1 as the team fouls are 8-2. 8 against Bigfork, 2 against Columbia Falls here in the second half. Second shot, first shot is good. Second shot on the way. And a foul called on Columbia Falls, number 22. Hannah Schweikert, third team foul in the corner. Over McAnally out to Chapius underneath to Carlin looking, finds Edgerton, throws it too hard. So Carlin, McAnally, Barrett, Chapius, and Edgerton in the ball game for Bigfork. 5 minutes to go. Trailing by 20, 51-31. Robeson gets underneath to Schweikert. Schweikert puts a shot up and good. And Columbia Falls up by 22 in full court pressing. McAnally up to Edgerton. Edgerton looking, gets it out to McAnally. In the corner to Barrett. Barrett looking to drive. Off of Columbia Falls. Out of bounds to Bigfork here on the near side. 4:35 to go, 53-31 on your Gator Painting scoreboard. The Valkyries trail. Chapius looking. Gets it into Edgerton. Edgerton looking. Finds McAnally. Edgerton thought about the three-point shot. Barrett looking to drive. Gives it up to Edgerton. Edgerton on the drive. Puts a shot up. Off the backboard. A little bit hard. No good. And Carlin had good position. Knocked out of bounds by Columbia Falls. It'll be Bigfork basketball underneath. And Edgerton will inbound for the Valkyries. Inbound to McAnally, out to Chapius. Chapius looking to drive. A nice drive off the backboard, a little hard and no good. On the floor, and getting on the floor is Chapius. And a held ball, it'll be called Bigfork basketball on the change of possession arrow. McAnally inbound to Barrett for the Valkyries. Finds Chapius. Left wing extended. Looking to drive. Tries to force it into Edgerton. And Hill steals it away. Feeds Robeson. That's going to be traveling violation. And Barrett's going to get fouled in the backcourt by number 22, Hannah Schweikert. And Scout Nadeau will come in for Ansley Edgerton. Windauer, Green, Gettleman, and Faulkner come in for Columbia Falls. Nadeau on the drive baseline. Barrett looking to drive. Gives it out to Chapius underneath. Now Nadeau, pass too hard. Green with the basketball. Looking to drive up. Stops at the free throw line. Out. And Barrett nearly takes it away. She would call for the foul as Barrett being aggressive. Peyton Rhodes as well in the ball game for Columbia Falls. Fourth foul on Barrett. And the 19th foul, so a 1-on-1 situation for the Valkyries. At the line, number 13, Grace Gettleman. Misses it. And Windauer gets the rebound. And she'll knock it out of bounds as she misses the shot. For Columbia Falls. 3:14, 55-31. And the Wildkats call off the Dogs off the press. Barrett will give it over to Chapius. Chapius looking underneath, or back to Barrett. Over to McAnally on the right side. Barrett looking to drive. Kicks it off to Chapius. Chapius looks underneath. Finds Carlin. Carlin gets it out to Barrett. Barrett looking to drive. Kicks it over in the quarter to Nadeau. Barrett. Shot up and good. A three-point shot by Emma Barrett. Madison Chapius on the steal, and she's going to be fouled by number 10, Alexis Green. So Nadeau, Carlin, and Chapius, 3 freshmen, along with the sophomore Beth and the senior McAnally in the ballgame for Columbia Falls. Checking in, number 25, Scout Menace, and number 5, Kimberly Peacock for Columbia Falls. 3-point shot away by McAnally, no good. And coming up the rebound is Beth. Beth shot up off the glass and good for 2 with 2:32 to go. Chapius, nearly stolen by Beth, and a great effort by Emma there. 2:27 to go, 55-36 on the Montana Athletic scoreboard. It's Columbia Falls basketball as Beth tries. And entering the game is Callie Martins, a sophomore, and also number 20, Zoe Albert, a freshman. So 4 freshmen and a sophomore for Bigfork. And knocked away by Columbia Falls as Chapius gets it over to Nadeau. And the Bigfork basketball underneath. Martins looking, finds Zoe Albert. Albert in the corner. Back to Martins. Martins goes up off the glass. Off the rim and no good. Nearly scored it. For underneath. Knocked away by Bigfork. Off of Columbia Falls. Nope, it'll be called off Bigfork. Off of Albert, I believe. It'll be Columbia Falls basketball underneath with 2:12 to go. Inbound to Green. Green, top of the key. Shot up and rebounded by Carlin as Peacock puts the shot up. Chapius drives across the timeline. Zoe Albert for 3. In and out. And rebounded by Windauer. Windauer gets it up the court quickly. And Peacock can't handle the pass from Rhodes. Peyton Rhodes tried to hit Peacock on the way up, and Peacock can't handle it. Chapius gives it over to Albert. Albert, top of the key to Chapius. Gives it up to Carlin. Carlin looking. And a foul will be called on Columbia Falls. Windauer's second and 16 foul. And the rest of the Wildcats checking in the ball game. Carlin. Chapius on the steal. Feeds Martins. Martins will go to the free throw line. As she's fouled by Green. Check that. That's on Rhodes. Her first 17th foul. And Callie Martins to the line. Makes the first one. Does the sophomore Martins. Second shot up and good. Ball don't lie. 55-38. Valkyrie's putting on pressure here with their youngins. And Green has nowhere to go. Feeds it in the corner. And stolen away. Intercepted by Albert. Zoe Albert dribbling across the timeline. Give top of the key to Chapius. Over to Carlin. Carlin looking to drive. Off the backboard and no good. A little bit hard. And rebounded there by Faulkner. Faulkner trying to go up. Stolen away by Madison Chapius. And Chapius will go back to the free throw line as she's fouled by Alexis Green. Chapius, quick little freshman, getting after it today. And she'll go to the line. So Chapius will shoot a 1-on-1 for Bigfork. Off the rim, no good. Nadeau in the ball game now. Martins harassing Green in the backcourt. 48 seconds to go on the ground. And Bigfork getting on the ground. And that'll be a held ball. And the arrow points towards Columbia Falls with 43.4 to go. Pass intended there for number 35, Madeline Stutzman. Goes awry and out of bounds. It'll be Bigfork basketball. Inbound to Martins. Martins will bring it across the timeline, top of the key. Looking over to Albert. Albert, three-point shot on the way. Misses everything and out of bounds. And it'll be Columbia Falls basketball with 28.5 to go on the Bigfork Harvest Food scoreboard. And 55-38, the Valkyries trail. Green across the timeline. Harassed by Nadu and Martins. She has nowhere to go. In the corner. Feeds it up. Blocked by Carlin. Looked like a clean block. They blow the whistle. There's that pass to Grace Gettleman. She'll get 2 shots. And that is Nevaeh Carlin's third. 10th team foul on Bigfork. So she'll get 2. Misses the first. And she'll get 1 more. Second shot up. Off the back of the rim and no good. And rebounded there. But Carlin thrown up by Columbia Falls. Will throw it up again. And Callie out in front. Going to look to score for Bigfork. Off the backboard. And good by Callie Martins. The sophomore, she'll get to try to complete the three-point play the old-fashioned way as we have 1.8 to go. And Martins at the line. Second shot up, and good. Up at the bottom of the net. 55-41. Inbound to Green. And that will be your ball game. The Columbia Falls Wildkats 55, Bigfork Valkyries 31. And we'll be back with you tomorrow. I will get the full game stats here, going to get them momentarily, and then we'll wrap this up on the post-game show. Your final, the big Columbia Falls Wildcats, a powerhouse Class A team, 55, and the Bigfork Valkyries 41 as they battled there at the end here in Columbia Falls. And scored 20 in the first half, 21 in the second. So, but Columbia Falls had 31 and scored 24 in the second half. So Bigfork able to hold them down just a little bit. I'll be back with your full game stats here from Columbia Falls, Montana. This is James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes and the Vals. And be with you momentarily. Well, welcome back to Columbia Falls, Montana. Your final is 55 to 41. As the Valkyries able to pull it back within 14. They were down by 11 and lose by 14. Columbia Falls turned it on a little bit there in the second half. Waiting for the full game stats And this post game brought to you by the Montana Athletic Cup. What's keeping you from getting fit? It's a new year. You might want to get over there and go see Doug and Nancy Malum at the Montana Athletic Club. Lots of things going on over there. You get a discounted guest passes, personal training, Pilates, 850 Holt Drive at Bigfork, Montana, 837-2582. And here comes the full game stats here. For Columbia Falls, I'll get those to you first. 9 points for Robeson. $17 for Lakaya Hill. 4 for Windauer. 2s for Svesvin. 12 for Schweikert. And 9 for Horner. The Valkyries able to hold Columbia Falls to 10 points only in quarter number 3, but they scored 14 at a total of 55. And waiting for Bigfork's scorebook here momentarily, and I'll give you the stats from that as well. As soon as I get those from my stat lady, I'll give those to you. Don't forget, we'll be on the air next time. We'll be in Troy, Montana, as the Valkyries and Vikings will both head to Troy. Should be 6 o'clock for the Vals and 7:30 for the Vikings. Next Tuesday, that is January 7th, we'll head over there and broadcast both of those games. But the next home game tomorrow is the Vikings taking on the Wildkats of Columbia Falls. And then Saturday, 3 games will be Rams and Breakers from Loyola coming up to take on your Valkyries and Vikings on Saturday afternoon. So a lot of basketball. If you want to watch some basketball, head to Bigfork High School up on tomorrow night and then on Saturday, as both teams will be in action. Boys freshman JV and varsity, and the girls JV and varsity on Saturday. And next week, upcoming again, we're going to Troy, and then on Saturday we'll be home hosting Deer Lodge. And 5 or 6 games against Deer Lodge on Saturday. And that will be the 11th, Saturday the 11th. I don't know if I'm going to get my stats here. I think she's adding them up over there. Once again, James LaFontaine, the voice of the Vikes, with you from Columbia Falls. Final 55-31 here in Columbia Falls. And get back to you next week. Thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. I don't think I'm going to get those stats for you right here. And she's adding them, totaling them up for the coach. So I'm going to wrap this up from Columbia Falls, Montana. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to the sponsors for this ball game. The Bigfork Harvest Foods, Gaylord Painting, and the Montana Athletic Club. Thank you for sponsoring Bigfork Athletics. I'm going to wrap it up from Columbia Falls, final 55-31 as the Valkyries lose to Class A Columbia Falls. Thank you and good night wherever you are. Please drive safely. We'll catch you tomorrow at home at the Bigfork High School Gymnasium as the Vikings take on the Wildkats at about 7:15 tomorrow night. Thank you and good night.